Welcome to our regular council meeting. Before we get started on our caucus, just a friendly reminder, we will have budget hearings tonight that will take place following our meeting tonight. We have engineer for budget, Board of Elections, and County Council office. I'm going to move on to, there are 11 motions. M0, I'm going to have to do that. There is, let's see, M0562025. We have Jason here to address council. Papio? Okay, come on up, sir. Right up here, and you have to turn on the mic. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, sorry, didn't realize I had to come up here. Yeah, I'm here for the small village appointment for the TAC committee for AMATs. I'm a graduate of University of Akron 1998. I've been in consulting engineering for 25 years. I would say the past 15 years I've been working with small communities and villages as their city engineer, doing the day-to-day stuff and focusing really on 5 to 10 year capital improvement plans and getting funding stacks for the small villages and cities to see those through. So I'm aware of the struggles that small communities have in funding their infrastructure, and feel free to answer any questions you guys have.
Does the council have any questions? Oh, thanks, Jason.
Thanks. Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, we have M0592025. We have Elizabeth Schreck. Okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Elizabeth. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to start serving on the board with all of you in January. I am really thrilled for that opportunity to serve with all of you and give back to the disabled community and the community at large. I've done advocacy work in a number of different areas, including on campus at both colleges that I attended, and I held the title of Miss Wheelchair Ohio 2014 and did statewide advocacy for the state of Ohio, as well as some traveling to other states for that as well. So if you have any questions, I'm more than willing to answer them.
Is there any questions from council? Yes, thank you. Probably have to go move that chair. My Heidi's. Next, we have M0602025. We have some members here from Supporting Organizational Board. Hi.
Good evening. Hi.
She's not on my list.
Good evening, Donna Skota, Summit County Executive's Office. We're here on behalf of the Supporting Org, and as you remember, there was conversations and previous introduction of the $45 million that will be given to Akron Community Foundation to be invested into perpetuity for the whole, the community. This has been going on. These are the first steps creating this 5-member board to continue to move in that direction. This will be a time-limited 90-day board that will then submit the documentation that is necessary. We're looking at the IRS documents, code of regulations they'll adopt for themselves, as well as starting to this is time limited, so we can get everything submitted, and then what would happen at that point, in those 90 days, we will appoint the entire 13-member board. The county executive has 6 members, and Akron Community Foundation has 7 members. And I have with me this evening the 2 gentlemen that have graciously accepted to read through piles of paper, and that would be Chris Burnham and David James. And I'm not sure if they'd like to say anything or not, but they are both known to you, I am sure, and very capable of helping us get through this.
Is there any questions from council? Jeff?
Donna, for the overall operation, when do you have an estimate estimation of when everything will be seated and ready to get
Well,
underway?
we can get everybody in place, but we can't do anything until we get that IRS approval. We can't give any money
that's
to
still pending.
ACF.
Okay.
So that, when that happens, then we can transfer dollars and start to look at, the funding pieces.
Well, David and Chris, thanks for stepping up. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Donna.
Hi, thank you.
And maybe Brian can answer this question, not you, this Brian. The investment it's been, what, about a year now since the money's been invested?
Those, the money for the supporting org is still with us because the actual organization does not yet exist. So this is that first step. The funds, the $5 million for the Field of Interest Fund, that money was transferred, and I think last update it had earned over $600,000 earnings on the $5 million.
Wow, but they.
A little bit better than what we were doing, yeah.
That's why
What are we
chop
getting,
chop. We want to get this
1.5% or
done.
Something like that? 4% now? Oh, yeah. Wow, that's
On the
pretty good.
overnight stuff, yeah.
And how much is invested still with us?
Of the supporting org?
No, the original amount of money that
Oh,
went
all
to
of
the
it.
community foundation.
Oh, the original is still, yeah, a little over 60.
How much?
A little over 60.
60 million?
Yeah.
And we still have that?
Oh, yes.
Getting 4%. And then what, on the 5 million, what, do you know off the top of your head what the interest rate we got on?
I don't,
I thought it was 9% they were earning.
is that, yeah, we can find out for sure, but yeah.
I'm
You know what I
just
mean?
curious.
Is it just?
Their annual rate of return is pretty good, it's over 8.
Yeah, sure. So of the interest off the 5 million, that hasn't been spent either because that
No.
can't be
That's-
spent until
that's-
this occurs. That's-
Well, the interest off the 5 million and the 5 million, it's a separate fund.
Yeah,
So, once funding decisions are made, now, we have not yet finalized appointments for that, advisory committee.
is it a different one?
It's
than
a
the
different
5
one.
million and
Yeah,
then
they're
it's
two
for
different,
60 million?
two different entities, two different structures for them.
The way it works with the Akron Community Foundation is even if it's earning 8 to 9% interest, it can only spend 5% of its market value
Yeah.
per year in grant making. So a little bit adds to the principal and a little bit will go out in grants in that 9% allocation.
Well, thank you. That was very informative.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. We're on our way.
I just wanted to remind everybody, so over here, if you're not actually talking into the mic, it is really hard for all of us to hear over here, just so everybody remembers that, okay? All right, let's see, there are 29 first readings. There are 2 first reading passage requests, 2025325. Phelan Thurn is here to speak to council. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Phelan Thurn, Department of Public Safety. We are requesting to go out to bid for 2 SWAT regional projects, and that is for 5 teams for various equipment. And can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So 3 teams are receiving SWAT tactical robots, and 2 teams are receiving night vision. And again, this is regional, and this is fully funded by FY24 SHSP grant funding.
Do we have any questions for council? Bethany?
How many counties does this include?
13.
Okay.
Region 5 is 13.
Oh, got you, okay.
The teams that are being funded don't cover all 13 counties, but they cover the majority of Region 5.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have 2025326, Phil Montgomery to address council.
Thank you, Madam President. Phil Montgomery from the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget. We have before council this cycle's appropriation legislation. A little bit different this week. We're reducing appropriations, not just increasing them. So the first is a true up for various orgs that is a net zero adjustment to appropriations for year-end chargebacks that are going to come through. The second item on here is the largest one, reduction in appropriations of $2.7 million. Council, I believe last cycle approved the increase, moving it from one grant year to the next grant year for the juvenile court. On page 2, we're asking for $5,000 appropriation out of our foreign FTZ funds to sponsor a creative placemaking conference with the Land Bank. We have an adjustment for public safety, an increase in appropriations for physical plants for the community-based correctional facility, the women's facility, to work with the work that needs to be done out there. On page 3, we have 3 more net zero appropriation adjustments moving between line items. On page 4, we're asking for an additional $11,000 for the fiscal office for recorder equipment, and an additional appropriation for looks like expenditures to go to the Tyler Conference for the fiscal office. The last one is another appropriation adjustment, net zero, for the juvenile court. On page 5, we have a request from the prosecutor's office to appropriate for a new grant for VAWA. And then on adult protective services, also a new grant for the prosecutor's office. Page 6, we have a net zero adjustment for the sheriff's department, an increase in appropriations of $998 for the concealed weapon fund. And then on the last one on that page is another net zero adjustment to the sheriff's office for inmate phone. And then on the last page, we have an increase of $9,758 for DD. This is that monthly, we close one contract, open another, and Munis deletes it. We still got to get that straightened out. And then the last one on here is an appropriation adjustment for the Permanent Improvement Fund for DD. So overall, it's a net increase of appropriations of $324,000 and a reduction of $2.7 million. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for council? Okay, moving on. There are no late filings. We have routine legislation found on pages 9 through 12. There is one second reading. There are no third readings. Please rise for the pledge, led by Councilwoman Christine Heim, followed by a moment of silence. Roll call.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Hyam.
Here.
Mr. Donofrio.
Here.
Mr. Cajun. Here. Ms. Dickinson.
Here.
Mr. Ford.
Here.
Mr. Wilhite.
Here.
Ms. Darrow.
Here.
Mr. Lacotte.
Here.
Ms. McKinney. Ms. Walters.
May I have a motion to approve November 10th, 2025 minutes, please? Did somebody? Oh, Liz. I have a motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motions for council. M50, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointment of Christine Marshall to the Metro RTA Board of Trustees.
So moved.
I have a motion on M0502025. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
M51, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointments of Brandy Brady, Diane Miller-Dawson, Phil Montgomery, and Lori Shalaz to the Community Improvement Corporation Board.
I have a motion on M0512025. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
M52, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointment of Brian Harnack to the Law Library Resources Board.
I have a motion on M0522025. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
M53, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointments of Executive Eileen Shapiro with alternate Joe Eckenrode, County Engineer Alan Brubaker with alternates Charles Haber and Stephanie Dybel, Mayor Sam Scaffide, Twinsburg Township Trustee Jim Balo, Dave Kallmeyer with alternate Zachary Kaxer, Diane Sumego, Mike Vinay with alternate Matt Kelsey, Caitlin Elrad and James Taylor to the Northeast Ohio 4-County NEFCO General Policy Board, and the reappointments of Ross Nicholson and Mayor Sam Scaffide to the NEFCO Intergovernmental Review Committee.
So moved.
I have a motion on M0532025. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M54, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointments of Richard Bancroft, Dennis Stoiber, and Jason Segedy to the Planning Commission.
I have a motion on M0542025. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M55, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointments of Greg Kramer and Tammy Gogler to the County of Summit Developmental Disabilities Board.
I have a motion on M0552025. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
2025, M56, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointments of Executive Eileen Shapiro with alternates Phil Montgomery and Sari Butchie-Gross, replacing Rose DeBoer, Diane Miller-Dawson with alternate Caitlin Elrad, and Fiscal Officer Christine Scalise with alternates Dominic Basile and Jay Curry to the Tax Incentives Review Council.
I have a motion on, no, I was going to say, okay, go ahead and move. Liz Walters. I have a motion on M0562025. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M57, 2025, a motion of council confirming the appointments of Jason Popeil, replacing Brian Gorok to the Akron Metropolitan Area Transportation Study AMATS Technical Advisory Committee.
So moved.
I think that was Christine Hine. I have a motion on M0572025. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
M58, 2025, a motion of council confirming the reappointment of Executive Eileen Shapiro, Summit County Engineer Alan Brubaker, Diane Miller-Dawson, Curtis Baker, and Mayor Russell Sharnsky to the Transportation Improvement District Board of Trustees.
I have a motion on M0582025. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M59, 2025, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Elizabeth Schrack, replacing Denise Ricks to the County of Summit Developmental Disabilities Board.
So moved.
I have a motion on M0592025. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
M60, 2025, a motion of council confirming the appointment of Dr. David James and Christopher Burnham to the 5-member Supporting Organization Board.
So moved, Madam President.
I have a motion on M0602025. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
First readings, 2025-325, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for multiple pieces of equipment for various jurisdiction and special operations teams for an estimated total amount not to exceed $297,600 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety Emergency Management Agency, Emergency.
That's okay. You got to turn the mic on, Aaron. Yeah.
Sorry, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2025-325.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2025-325 on the suspension. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
2025-326, a resolution appropriating funds in order to meet projected expenditures for the balance of 2025 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2025-326.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2025-326 on the suspension. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
2025-327, a resolution establishing legal holidays for non-bargaining county employees for calendar year 2026 for the Executive's Department of Human Resources Emergency. 2025-328, a resolution pursuant to Section 169.04H of the Codified Ordinances of the County of Summit as set forth in Exhibit A, approving and adopting the report on staffing for calendar year 2026 for the Executive Emergency. 2025-329, a resolution approving salary adjustments for classified non-bargaining employees Deborah Atkins, Maurice Durrell, and Brian Tebelak for the Engineer Emergency. 2025-330, a resolution to extend the final design report to April 1, 2026 for Springfield Township's Springfield Lake Outlet Ditch petition pursuant to Section 6131.12 of the Ohio Revised Code Emergency. 2025-331, a resolution to extend the final design report to April 1, 2026 for Copley Township's Copley Ditch petition pursuant to Section 6131.12 of the Ohio Revised Code Emergency. 2025-332, a resolution authorizing the Executive to advertise for bids as needed for stormwater improvement projects for the Summit County Surface Water Management District's 2026 capital improvements program at an estimated cost not to exceed $13,880,000 for the Engineer Emergency. 2025-333, a resolution authorizing the Executive to advertise for bids as needed for road and bridge construction projects in the Engineer's 2026 capital improvement program at an estimated cost not to exceed $7,925,000 for the Engineer Emergency. 2025-334, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Parham Electric Incorporated for the Canton Road and Sanitarium Road intersection improvement project located in Springfield Township in Council District 8 in an amount not to exceed $356,680 for the Engineer Emergency. 2025-335, an ordinance amending Section 339.12 of the Codified Ordinances of the County of Summit entitled Bridge Weight Limits to place, revise, or remove load limits on various bridges in Summit County for the Engineer Emergency. 2025-336, a resolution authorizing the Executive to advertise for bids for the construction of Project Q456 Pump Station Number 29 replacement and force main replacement located in the City of Stowe and the Village of Silver Lake in Council District 3 for an estimated total cost not to exceed $1,200,000 and to authorize the Executive to apply for and execute a loan agreement with the Water Pollution Control Loan Fund for a loan in an amount not to exceed $1,200,000 to fund the project for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services Emergency. 2025-337, a resolution authorizing the Executive to advertise for bids for the sewer lining and manhole rehabilitation construction for Project Q185 elimination of Hudson Sanitary Sewer Overflow Area J located in the City of Hudson, Council District 3 for an estimated total cost not to exceed $200,000 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services Emergency. 2025-338, a resolution authorizing the Executive to cooperate with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the construction costs for the relocation of the sanitary sewer line due to the bridge deck replacement on State Route 91 located in the City of Monroe Falls in Council District 3 for the Executive's Department of Sanitary Sewer Services Emergency. 2025-339, a resolution declaring the impact of the Ohio Building HVAC and Finishes Upgrade Project on the fiscal officer's ability to conduct 2026 tax collections and emergency pursuant to Section 177.07A3 of the Codified Ordinances of the County of Summit and authorizing the Executive to execute a lease agreement with PVC Cascade One Limited Liability Company for the lease of approximately 15,900 931 square feet of office space located on the first and third floors of One Cascade Plaza in the city of Akron in Council District 4 for a one-year term from January 1, 26 to December 31, 26 for a total amount not to exceed $299,454.68 for the length of the agreement for the executive and fiscal officer emergency. 2025-340, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a renewal, first of two, of a professional service contract with Rutzel Consulting Solutions as a best practical source to provide economic development strategy, project management, and consulting services to the county for a one-year term from January 1, 26 through December 31, 26, and in an amount not to exceed $96,000 for the Executive's Department of Community and Economic Development emergency. 2025-341, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute an extension to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Akron for the boarding at the jail of misdemeanor offenders charged under a City of Akron ordinance or charged with contempt of an Akron Municipal Court judge for a term of 6 months from July 1, 25 to December 31, 25, and in an amount not to exceed $2,464,348.50 for the executive emergency. 2025-342, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Akron for the boarding at the jail of misdemeanor offenders charged under a City of Akron ordinance or charged with contempt of an Akron Municipal Court judge for a one-year term for the period of January 1, 26 through December 31, 26, and in an amount not to exceed $2,976,300 for the executive emergency. 2025-343, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a renewal, third of four, of a professional service contract with Orient House Incorporated for community correction services for a one-year term from January 1, 26 through December 31, 26, and in an amount not to exceed $7,133,070.65 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety emergency. 2025-344, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Orient House Incorporated as a best practical source for operation of the Community Alternative Sentencing Center for a one-year term from January 1, 26 through December 31, 26 for a total amount not to exceed $2,642,304.41 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety emergency. 2025-345, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Tyler Technologies Incorporated as a best practical source to provide annual maintenance services for the countywide computer-aided dispatch and records management systems for a one-year term for the period January 1, 26 through December 31, 26, and in an amount not to exceed $963,052.73 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety emergency. 2025-346, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a renewal, first of four, of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Akron for data hosting equipment and services for the computer-aided dispatch system for a one-year term for the period of January 1, 26 through December 31, 26, and in an amount not to exceed $160,680 for the Executive's Department of Public Safety emergency. 2025-347, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Akron for co-ownership of the countywide 800 megahertz radio system for a term of 5 years for the period of January 1, 25 through December 31, 30, with two options to renew for an additional 5-year term for the Executive's Department of Public Safety emergency. 2025-348, a resolution approving and adopting the 2026 operating budget for all funds, departments, and agencies of the County of Summit and appropriating funds as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget Emergency. 2025-349, a resolution approving and adopting the 2026 operating budget for the Executive's Department of Job and Family Services and appropriating funds as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget Emergency. 2025-350, a resolution confirming the award of the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Tobias International Incorporated at less than Sourcewell pricing for network management software for a 3-year term from November 1, 25 through October 31, 28, and in an amount not to exceed $128,600 for the Office of Information Technology Emergency. 2025-351, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Advisets Technologies Limited Liability Company as best practical source for Aruba switches in an amount not to exceed $108,644.75 for the Office of Information Technology Emergency. 2025-352, a resolution confirming the award of the Board of Control of a purchase contract with AT&T as a best practical source to provide local Centrax telephone and long-distance services for a 1-year term from January 1, 26 through December 31, 26, in an amount not to exceed $120,000 for the Office of Information Technology Emergency. 2025-353, a resolution confirming the award of the Board of Control of a purchase contract with AT&T as a best practical source for block hours of consulting services for the offboarding of Centrax and long-distance services for a 1-year term from January 1, 26 through December 31, 26, and in an amount not to exceed $91,970 for the Office of Information Technology Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 9 through 12.
I have a motion to suspend and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 9 through 12. On the suspension, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Second readings, 2025-312, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with ABM Industry Groups Limited Liability Company for operation and management of the Summit County Parking Deck in Council District 4 for a 60-month term for the period of August 1, 25 through July 31, 30, and a total amount not to exceed $657,496.18 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services Physical Plants Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2025-312.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2025-312. On the suspension, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And if, okay, she abstained. And then if there's no further business, we were supposed to do a motion, then she reads. I did that. Yeah, I did that. And she sustained. I think we were supposed to do a motion, and then she reads it, and then I do the suspension and adoption. That's what I think. I don't know. I might be wrong. What do you think, John? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think I got to have a motion on the second reading, and then I do the motion, and then we do the suspension and adoption. He said just do it again, just to be on the, I think. That's what, yeah. We're good. Yeah, we'll leave it alone. Okay. All right. And if there's no further business before council, we are adjourned, and we are going to open now to budget hearings.
Okay, we'll open up budget hearings. First up is the County Engineer's Office. I think I lost control. Yeah, you can go ahead. They're just all moving out.
Good evening, Council. Aquila Hollinger, Budget Management Director in the Engineer's Office. Want to start with just some general information about our 26 budget. Overall, the 26 budget is up 2.13%, and that is due to COLAs, benefits, and additional pay period. We cut most of the vacant positions in the salary budget to address the increases in some of the capital budget shortfall. This eliminates some of the extra padding in the salary budget we have had in the previous years, and we'll have to keep a close eye on it as the year progresses. We did this to address the revenue decline of the past years, causing us to have to find ways to address just a small part of the capital budget gap. There's also a couple of differences between what we requested last year in our internal budget sheets and what is showing up on our current budget sheets. So I will point those out as I go through. Breaking it down into our individual areas, the first one is our administration area. For 26, the admin budget request is up 1.31% from the original submitted 25 budget. The budget sheet looks like we're down 10% for what you have, and this is because we appropriate budget for transfers out separately as federally funded construction contracts occur. These are originally accounted for in our capital budget as a local share, but not appropriated until we have the project ready to go. We decreased our contract services line in the admin area by approximately 70%. We decreased travel, paid off our debt, so therefore we don't have anything accounted for on our debt line for 2026, and our utility line increased, and that's due to higher utility rates. Next is our public service area, which is also our maintenance and garage area. The 26 public service budget request is up 8% from our 25 adjusted budget. Without the additional pay period added, the increase would be more likely around 5%. This division has our largest budget increase. In this area, we were able to decrease the rental and leases line by 19% and the equipment line by 12%. The materials line has increased due to our need to go back to purchasing the normal level of salt for this winter season, excuse me, after reducing it for 25 budget. We're still able to purchase the salt lower than the CUE pricing as we've joined the ODOT Cooperative Purchasing Salt Contract. And again, for this upcoming winter season, we're not in any danger of not having enough salt, so that means we'll have full bins and be able to maintain the roadways. The next area is our engineering area. 26 engineering budget requests show as an increase of 1.57% against the 25 adjusted budget. Without the additional pay increase, the decrease is almost 6% from our 25 budget. This is the division where we reduced the budget greatly by removing budget for those vacant positions. All budget lines in this area have decreased with the exception of the travel and other expenses line. And next is our special funds. In 24, that was our last year for collecting for the Bath Township Fund. So this account is no longer taking in revenue, and we replaced that with the countywide program. So we're trying to spend down this account. We currently have $1.3 million in cash on hand for this, and we plan to use it mostly to support the Idlebrook project in Bath, which is estimated to be about $2 million. The assessed subdivision, District 1 and 2, citizens pay a stormwater fee for this, and we use the money for upkeep and maintenance inspections. We appropriate the full amount, and we have 2 contracts with companies who inspect and maintain and repair stormwater facilities. And lastly, in this area is the community rotary funds. No change in this area. Developers fund this actual fund, and the fund decreases when we do inspection reviews for the subdivision. So there's no county funds commingle into this account. And lastly, our surface water management district, we're in our first year of collecting revenue for this. In 25, we project approximately $3 million in revenue and around the same for 2026. We're getting the stormwater management district fully operating, so the budget has increased. We have moved one full-time employee salary and 75% of one employee salary and benefits to the stormwater management district. We increased the contract services line and added an internal services line to this budget. And lastly, we have added ditch maintenance activities for work our crews are doing. And that's it. I'll be happy to answer any questions. All right, thank you.
Good evening, Lance Reed and Pete Ziegler with the Summit County Board of Elections. First off, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say thank you for the investment in this wonderful new building and getting through the first election successfully. You should have in front of you a stapled packet on 11 by 17 inch paper. This is the budget request that our board members passed at our meeting last week. So on the last page, you'll see it comes out to a little over $8 million. We view this as kind of like a worst case scenario. We want to be able to present to county council kind of what we think could be a worst case scenario should some of the things that we're hearing and seeing actually come to fruition. One of them is a significant increase potentially in part-time and overtime payroll. We're looking at up to maybe 7 statewide petitions that could be circulated to get on the ballot next year. If those were to come through in any significant way, it would certainly increase our part-time and overtime salary because we usually have about a 3-week window to get these petitions checked and back to the state. So it doesn't matter whether we get 1, 5, or 6, we usually have that exact same window. So it would be kind of an all hands on deck if that scenario were to come into play. And of course, if that many statewide issues were to make the ballot for what would probably be November of next year, we obviously have a significant increase on the number of ballot sheets that we need to have, which is usually somewhere in the range of about $80,000 per sheet when we look at a county-wide order, depending on how many ballots the board approves to purchase. So there's a couple significant cost drivers in there. One of the ones I know Mr. Montgomery and I were talking about was in previous budget years, we never had any expense for rent or lease payments for facility. We now do have a rent payment to the land bank that we make every month for this property. So that's a little bit of a difference when comparing our budget from even going back to 2024. But like I say, this is more of a worst case scenario. Mr. Montgomery and I have spoken a couple times over the last couple weeks and kind of where the budget would kind of fall for what the county would be offering. So he and I have been kind of working back and forth on myself trying to explain to him, you know, if we only got 2 or 3 maybe statewide petitions instead of 6 or 7, this is probably where the cost would decrease. So that goes into a lot of, I think, where the county is proposing the $7.313 million, knowing that at least you guys are aware that should costs really arise for any reason, the full budget we're presenting to you is kind of where it would kind of shake out towards. All right, excellent. Yeah, we got beat up last year.
John?
Okay, I have a question.
No, it's
so close.
John, it's not actually a question. It's look, I know there was some heartache election eve, and certainly the ladies and gentlemen who are on the ballot, that is difficult for them.
Yes.
But in all fairness, gentlemen, I just want to say, as someone who occupies this building every day, and the work that you all did, and everybody associated with making this place happen, you could not have been more responsive to the tenants in here. There were countless times where I would witness firsthand large groups meeting, trying to determine what happens here, what happens there. So, you know, it's always tough the first time when you go from a Yugo to a Corvette.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of understanding. I get that. But the real test will be in 2026. So hopefully we won't revisit that.
I certainly hope
scenario.
not.
But in all fairness, wanted to offer our appreciation from the folks on that side of the building. You made it as painless as possible.
Well, thank you very
So
much.
thank
We
you for
appreciate that. Yeah, we wanted to work with everybody as collaboratively as we could and learning what this space was going to bring to us for the first election and so that we can continue to learn as we head into May and November of next year. So thank you very much.
Okay, and I'll just ask one question that
Yes.
Rita and I were talking about over here. We're looking at board members getting a 5% raise per year.
Correct.
And full-time employees getting a 2.5% raise. So what's the explanation for the
The
difference?
board member salaries are determined by Ohio law. It's
Okay.
ORC.
I figured that might be the answer. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Councilwoman, in your next terms, council members will also start getting those 5s as well. Yeah.
So,
Correct. So the state of Ohio approved 5% COLAs for elected officials, statewide elected officials. So they don't take effect in term, but when you start your next term, and I think that runs through 2020, I'd have to look.
I think it's through 2029, if I remember
That's what I'm
correctly.
thinking, yeah. And so there'll be a catch-up there as well for what you didn't get in term. So that applies to our county elected officials, including county council, in the next term. And all of that dates back to the fact that elected officials have been getting 1.75%, while most employees of, not just here, but have been getting, 3% roughly on average. So the state legislature, as part of the state budget bill, approved essentially a catch-up for state elected officials. Yeah. Yep. And I think even then, if we go back 20 years and look at inflation, you're still not on par, but it's an improvement.
I just have one question. So this document here is not an ask. It is what, just like a warning, kind of letting us potentially know?
Yeah, so in essence, like I say, we put our budget in front of our board and we kind of work through, what we see expense-wise coming up. So that's where our board ultimately final votes on this, and they did last week. So yeah, it's kind of a, we know we're not going to get what we asked for right out of the gate, and that's where Mr. Montgomery and I think even Mr. Nelson and I in previous years have always said, we'll obviously work with what the county offers, but we at least want you to know that some of these things do pop up. Don't be surprised if we maybe have to come back and kind of work towards asking for more money should that day come. Mm-hmm.
On your budget, like for the other salaries, the Board of Election salaries, you guys make the recommendation to the board members, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Well, other than part-time. The part-time, sometimes the board usually has the most conversation about that one.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that we cleared that one up, because we've seen this one up here. We know that state, and this is your recommendations. Thank you.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Also, Mr. Chairman, if I'm not mistaken, Brandon, if they don't ask for the money up front, and then later in the year they need to go to court for a mandamus, it's better that they ask for it up front so everybody knew ahead of time. And isn't that the way it works, Brian?
It is, though we have a good long record of when they come back, and it's usually, we said this was a possibility, here it is. We've always funded it, so.
All right, thank you.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to take this opportunity while everyone's here to mention how great Lance and Pete and his staff have been throughout our transition coming over here and helping us use this space. They've been incredibly helpful and kind through the whole process, so just wanted that for the record. Thanks again for your help.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Hello, Council. Mark Potter, Chief of Staff. Our budget, we have, excuse me, for 2026, the only change is there's a 7.5% increase for the benefits, and countywide there's a 2.5% increase for salaries. Other than that, there are no changes from last year's budget. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
He wanted me to, John was getting ready to tell me. If I may, I want to